good afternoon, everybody. So I welcome you all once again for our 8th session of professional ethics. Yes. So we have discussed in the last class. Just will what are the things we discussed in the last class? Just will recap it. So we have discussed about what we can call valuing time, giving importance to time, importance of time. Yes, that's what we discussed in the last class. Then cooperation or cooperating or commitment. So these are the three topics what we discussed in the last class. So again, we'll continue with some other topics. So what we discussed today is about empathy and self-confidence. So two more topics we are going to discuss in today's session about empathy and self-confidence. So what do you mean by empathy or sympathy we can call? That is what we're going to discuss it here. It's fine. First, so empathy is a social radar or a, what you can call a character or a guideline. What you can call it's a practice. We have a sympathy for everybody or empathy for everybody. Yes, we feel for others. Somebody is not well, so you feel for him. Maybe your friend, maybe your brother, maybe your parent. You feel for them. That is what you call empathy or sympathy. Yes, or somebody is not well or somebody has fallen down. Something we feel immediately. We have sympathy for him or her. What you call so sensing. Empathy is a social radar, yes, you can call. Sensing what others feel about without their open talk is the essence of empathy. So what he or she may tell you, we are least bothered about that. Something happens to him or her, immediately we help her. We go to help him or her. So we call that as a empathy, or we call that sympathy. Sensing what others feel about without their open talk is the essence of empathy. Empathy is nothing, it begins with showing concern and then obtaining and understanding the feelings of others from others' point of view. Yes, so what is it? Showing concern to others. Yes, helping others, maybe in normal time or if when he or she is not well, whatever it is, we're showing concern to them. Yes, empathy begins with showing concern and then obtaining and understanding the feeling of others. Sometimes your brother or a sister, she may be sad, so you may ask why you're feeling sad, or she may, or he or she may be angry something. You go and ask them why he or she is angry. Something you try to understand the feelings of others. That is what you call empathy. Empathy begins with showing concern and then obtaining and understanding the feelings of others from others' point of view. Yes. It is also defined as the ability to put oneself into the psychological frame or reference or point of view of another to know what the other person feels. So what is empathy? You try to understand what is happening to others, why he is not well, why he is angry, why he is sad, or you join in with him a birthday party or some function or get together. You join in his happiness as well as sadness. That you try to understand why it is. Yes, that is what you call empathy. We try to understand the psychological of other persons in whatever situation he or she may be normal time or while going to the college, you may go together, you come together. Yes, something like that. Yes, that is what you call empathy or sympathy. Yes, for example, the dog is hungry, you feed a food for a dog. That is what you call sympathy. Yes, the dog is thirsty, you may give a water for the dog. That is what you call empathy or sympathy. What you call. So try to understand the feelings of others. Yes, that is what you call empathy. So somebody read these points.
Empathy is a social radar, sensing what others feel about without their open talk is the sense of empathy. Empathy begins with showing concern and then obtaining and understanding the feeling of others from others' point of view. It is also defined as the ability to put oneself into the psychological frame or reference or point of view of other to know what the other person feels.
Yes, what the other, we try to understand. Empathy is a character or a what do you call practice where we try to understand others' feelings. We call that as a empathy. It's showing concern for others. What you can call it's fine. Yes, next. It includes imaginative projection into others' feeling. We doesn't know what he or she is happening. We try to understand that. We try to imagine why he is happy, why he is sad, and so on. That. So what that is what you call. We try to understand why he or she is sad or happy or whatever it is. We try to understand others' feelings. We try to imagine it. It's fine. That is what we call. It includes the imaginative projection into others' feeling. Yes. Understanding of others' background, such as parentage, physical and mental state, economic situation and association. We try to understand their parents or their background. What are their parents? Yes, what are their how are they physically or mentally or financially or economic and association. We try to understand what their parents are doing, how many of them are there in the family, and so on. Yes, we try to understand what his parents are working, what he or she is doing, and so on. We try to understand others' background. So we call that as a empathy. This is an essential ingredient for good human relations and transaction. So this is a good practice which everyone should try to follow. Empathy, or also we can call the sympathy also. Yes. So it is a good practice for human beings to have relations with your friends and everybody, we can call. Can somebody read these points?
It includes the imaginative projection into others' feelings, understanding of others' background, such as parentage, physical and mental state, economic situation, and association. This is an essential ingredient for good human relations and transactions.
So that is about your empathy, what you can call. That's fine. Next, so to practice empathy, what we need to do, we follow some characteristics. What are those? To practice empathy, a leader must have or develop in him the following characteristics. So you want to practice empathy. How to do? What we can do? The first characteristic, what we should do is understand others. So empathy is one of the showing concern, understanding others. So that is what we call empathy. So to practice empathy, we need to understand others. It means sensing others' feelings and perspectives and taking active interest in their welfare then. So you try to understand them, you try to help them in whatever way you want that. That is what you call understanding others then. So try to understand the feelings of others and their perspectives, and you take interest in their welfare. That is what you call understanding others. First characteristic. Second one, service orientation. It is anticipation, recognition, and meeting the needs of the clients or customers. Somebody needs a help. What you can call you can do a service to them, or you can provide a help to them. What you call, so that is what you call service. Suppose, for example, he or she is not well, and he or she nobody is there at home, and you need to procure the medicine. Nobody is there, so you can go to a medical store, purchase the medicine, and give it to them. That is a service. What you can call that. Yes. Or nobody is there at home. They want to purchase some item. Nobody is there, so you go and help them purchase the item and give it to them. That is a service. What you call. So providing the needs of others, we call that as a service orientation. It is anticipation, recognition, and meeting the needs of the clients or customers. Yes. So it may be a client, or maybe you are a businessman. You need to provide a service for the customers. For example, you are selling the mobile phones or computers. So if something goes wrong, you need to provide a service for that. That is what we call service orientation. You have sold it, so then you may say that I'm not going to provide service. No, that is wrong. So you need to provide the service, customer support or customer service, what we call. That is what we call service orientation. Developing others. This means identification of their needs and bolstering their abilities. Developing others means whatever their needs are there, you try to understand their needs and help them. That is what we call developing others. Somebody read these three characteristics.
To practice empathy, a leader must have or develop in him the following characteristics. First one, understanding others. It means sensing others' feelings and perspectives and taking active interest in their welfare. Service orientation. It is an anticipation, recognition, and meeting the needs of the clients or customers. Developing others. This means identification of their needs and bolstering their abilities.
Yes. So these are the characteristics you need to follow to practice empathy. Yes, fine. We'll discuss again. Some or examples. What do you mean developing others? In developing others, one should inculcate in him the listening skill first. See how the communication. What does communication include? Communication includes 22% reading, and writing is 23%. Reading and speaking is 23%, and 55% is listening. So you should be more. You should be a good listener rather than speaker. Speaking in calculates only 23%, and reading and writing includes 22%. So whereas listening is very, very important for communication. You should be, first of all, you should be a good listener. If you're a good listener, then you can be a good speaker also then. See how you can develop the skills is, see 55% is listening skills. You should have good listening skills. The remaining 45% is reading, writing, and speaking, what you can call it. Just like this. So you can improve this. What you call, you should practice all these qualities. What you should be a good listener. Then you can automatically can be a good speaker, a good reader, or can be a good writer. One should get the feedback, acknowledge the strength and accomplishment, and then coach the individual there. Suppose somebody is saying that you're not a good speaker, so don't be hurt about that. He is telling it in a positive way. Try to improve your skill set. You may not be a good speaker, so by reading and writing and practicing, you can become a good speaker. What you call it. Yes, by informing about what was wrong and giving correct feedback and positive expectation of the subject's abilities and the resulting performance. So developing others is nothing but whatever the shortcomings are there in your, somebody will tell you that you are lagging behind in such and such quality. So you take it as a positive and try to improve that quality, what you call. That is what you call developing others, what you call. Yes, somebody read these points.
In developing others, the one should inculcate in him the listening skill first. Communication is equals to 22% reading and writing plus 23% speaking plus 55% listening. One should get the feedback, acknowledge the strength and accomplishments, and then coach the individual. By informing about what was wrong and giving correct feedback and positive expectations of the subject's abilities and the resulting performance.
Yes, that is the third characteristic we call developing others. That is fine. And fourth one, leveraging diversity. What is the opportunities through diverse people? This leads to enhanced organizational learning, flexibility, and profitability there. So you try to learn the skill, more skills, getting training, or you call, you be flexible, yes, or you can do many things there, yes. So you got some special what you call ability. You try to show your ability there, yes, and profitability. So this leads to enhanced organizational learning, flexibility, and profitability. So that is opportunities through diverse people. In an organization, you meet so many different types of people there. So try to exhibit your talent, try to exhibit your qualities. So where you can, that will be helpful for your business, what you call. So where you can earn, increase your profit in the business time. And the last fifth characteristic, political awareness. It is the ability to read political and social currents in an organization. What is the political and social currents? How your organization is working? About awareness about your political or awareness about your organization. So you should learn. These are the 5 characteristics. That is what we call leveraging diversity and political awareness. Yes, fifth one. Yes, read these 2 characteristics.
Leveraging diversity, opportunities through diverse people. This leads to enhanced organizational learning, flexibility, and profitability. Political awareness. It is the ability to read political and social currents in an organization.
So these are the 5 characteristics what you should what do you call practice to what do you call to practice empathy. What do you call it? Yes, fine. Next, now what are the benefits of empathy? If you practice empathy, what benefit you're going to get it there? What is the benefit? So good customer relationship then. So if you're doing a business, definitely you'll have good customer relationship because you have empathy or sympathy for your customer. Definitely a good relationship will be there with the customer. Then harmonious labor relations, what you call. So if you're having empathy for your concern for your employees, then definitely you'll have a good relationship with your laborers or employees, what you call. Then good vendor producer relationship there. Yes, so vendor, the persons who are supplying the items, or the suppliers and the producers, if you have empathy for them, then you have good vendor producer relation. This will help you to increase your profit, maximize the output and profit, as well as minimize the loss. If you have good relationship with the vendors, customers, vendors, and the laborers, definitely this will increase your business, the profit will increase, as well as output will also increase. So these are the benefits of empathy there. Yes, fine. Somebody read these points.
Benefits of empathy include good customer relations, harmonious labor relation, good vendor-producer relationship. Through the above three, we can maximize the output and profit as well as minimizing the loss.
So if you practice this three empathy, then you have naturally you can maximize the output and profit, and you can minimize the loss. What do you call? So that is about your empathy. What do you call? Yes. Next, some other points about empathy. While dealing with customer complaints, empathy is very effective in realizing the unbiased views of others and in admitting one's own limitations and failure. So when you have a good relationship with the customer, so the customer will use some complaint, for example, the computer is not working properly. So you listen to them. What is the problem? What may be the reason? Maybe a hardware problem or hard disk problem or RAM problem, whatever it is. So from the customers, you get a feedback there. Whatever it is, what is the reason? Whether the problem with the hardware or whether there's a problem with the engineer, whatever may be there. And if you know what are your limitations, what are the drawback, so you can improve that. So some particular hardware may not be working well. Fine. So in the next time you need not procure the same hardware, you procure other hardware. You can know what are the problems there. So by having good empathy, you can improve your business side. You can accept your mistake. Something mistake may be there in a product. You can replace the product. So next time you may buy a good product. So you can understand your limitations or you can understand your drawbacks. Hence, you can improve your business with the customer if you practice empathy. What you call. According to Peter Drucker, purpose of the business is not to make a sale, but to make and keep a customer. So the main aim of what you can call, according to Peter Drucker, one of the person, he says that the goal of business is not to make sale. They want the customer to keep coming again and come again. They want to keep the customer. Customer relationship is more important than. If you have good relationship, and then your business will increase, what you call. But one customer, if he is happy with you, he will recommend to somebody else. Somebody will come and ask from where you brought this computer or a mobile phone. He will tell, I brought it from so and so on company that. So it will be just like a marketing purpose, what you call. So always have a good relationship with the customer. Then empathy assists one in developing courage leading to success. So empathy will help you to develop your courage, which will be again helpful for us. It will be successful. Yes. So these are the points about empathy. Next, somebody read these points.
While dealing with customer complaints, empathy is very effective in realizing the unbiased views of the others and in admitting one's own limitations and failure. According to Peter Drucker, purpose of business is not to make a sale, but to keep a customer. Empathy assists one in developing courage, leading to success.
Yes. So these are the what you can call empathy will help in the customer relationship. What you call, and you can keep the customer, and also the empathy will help you to develop the courage. What you can call. Yes, fine. Yes. So that is about the empathy. So far, what we have discussed. Next, we are going to discuss about self-confidence. What do you mean by self-confidence? Self-confidence is nothing but that what are the abilities what you have got, your own ability. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do. You have got a confidence that I can do it. That is what you call confidence. Certainty in one's own capabilities, values, and goals is self-confidence. What are your good values? What are your capacities or capability or ability? What you can do? We call that as a self-confidence. Yes, these people are usually positive thinking, flexible, and willing to change that. So the people who are self-confident, they are all positive thinking, they are flexible and willing to change. What you can call, they're ready to change. If you're not able to do it, you're trying to change it. That is what you call self-confidence. They respect others so much as they respect themselves. The people who are self-confident, they respect others as well as they respect themselves. So like for example, so we ask you who want to become a class representative. So you will not, nobody will stand up or nobody will raise their hands, for example. That means you're not confident. Yes. So the people who are confident, they may stand up to become a class representative. That is what you call self-confidence. You have got a capacity or an ability to become a class representative. What we call. Yes. So these are the three. Yes. So somebody read these points.
Certainty in one's own capabilities, values, and goals itself. Confidence. These people are usually positive thinking, flexible, and willing to change. They respect others so much as they respect themselves.
Yes. So these are the characteristics of what you call self-confidence. Yes. Next, self-confidence is positive attitude. It is a positive, a good attitude, or positive, always positive. The individual has some positive and realistic view of himself with respect to the situation in which one gets involved. So whatever the task given to you, you are ready to accept it, or you are ready to do it. That. So it is a positive attitude and realistic view of himself. Yes, I can do it. Somebody has given a task to me, I can do it. That's what we call with respect to the situations in which one gets involved. That the people with self-confidence exhibit courage to get into action. Then yes. So what are the people? The self-confidence people are courageous. They are very courageous. Yes, fine. Next, unshakable faith in their abilities, whatever may be the position, irrespective of the position, they have got the faith in their ability. Yes, I can do it, whatever may be the position or whatever may be the situation, I am ready, I can do it. What is that we call? Unshakable faith in their abilities, whatever may be their position, what you call. That's fine. They are not influenced by threats or challenges and prepared to face them and the natural or unexpected consequences. So they are what you call, somebody may threat them, if you do like this, it may happen like this, or somebody may tell not to do the things. Yes, or somebody may threat them, but still, in spite of all these threats and challenges, they are ready to face those challenges, they are ready to face the threats and unexpected consequences, and they are ready to do it. That these are the qualities of self-confidence people. That so they are not influenced by any of the threats or challenges, or and they are ready to prepare or face all these challenges, and they are ready to what you call sustain all the unexpected consequences. What you call. Yes, somebody read these points.
Self-confidence is a positive attitude. The individual has some positive and realistic view of himself with respect to the situation in which one gets involved. The person with self-confidence exhibits courage to get into an action, unshakable faith in their abilities, whatever may be their positions. They are not influenced by threats or challenges and are prepared to face them and the natural or unexpected consequences.
Yes, that is about a self-confidence. Yes, next. The self-confidence in a person develops a sense of partnership, respect, and accountability, what you call. Yes, it will help you to what you can call. Yes, it will help you, what you call, in a person to develop a sense of partnership, respect, and account. You are accountable. If you do something, yes, somebody is going to ask me that. I'm accountable for that. Yes, and a partnership, like you're involved in a particular job, or it's like a teamwork, what you can call that. You respect them. This helps the organization to obtain maximum ideas, efforts, and guidelines from its employees, what you can call. Yes, what is the advantage of this? So what it will help you? It will help you to what you can call. Yes, it will help you to what you call, you share your ideas, your more efforts and guidelines from its employees, what you can call. Yes, fine. So this helps the organization to obtain maximum ideas, efforts, and guideline from its employees. The people with self-confidence have the following characteristics. What is that? So what are those? A self-assured standing, they are independent, what you call, and willing to listen, to learn from others and adopt. They are ready to listen and adopt them. Frank to speak the truth. Always they will tell the truth. Respect others' efforts and give due credit. Yes, that is what. So these are the characteristics of what you can call the self-confidence people, what you can call this. These are the characters. What are those characteristics? Somebody read it.
The people with self-confidence have the following
characteristics: a self-assured standing, willing to listen, to learn from others and adopt, frank to speak the truth, respect others' effort, and give due credit.
Yes. So these are the things we need to discuss in the today's classes. So we have discussed about two things today, empathy and self-confidence. So with this, we'll wind up the session. Then we'll see you again in the next class. Yes. Thank you, one and all. Yes, fine.